Hello, everybody. Steve Buzzer here with his partner in crime,
Megan Buzzer.
Megan Buzzer. Buzz about golf. Today we are talking about qualifiers, and we are doing it for two purposes. One, so you can learn through the experience of others, and the other reason, which you could argue is the more important reason, last week or 2 weeks ago, 3 gentlemen did qualifiers. Rick Shields, Peter Finch, and the one and only Steve Buzzer. Only one made it.
Only one, huh? You don't say.
Only one. So the main reason for this podcast is I qualified and they didn't. Disclaimer, they were doing open qualifying, I was doing Texas State.
But that's still a big feat.
It was still a big one, and
Yeah.
I did it last year and I didn't qualify. So it's I was happy. Little bit of pressure because it was a pretty small, they do quite a few areas to qualify. There weren't too many people. I think it was just under 30 people, but there were only 3 spots.
Only 3 spots.
There were only 3 spots. And what was funny about it, and if we use the word funny, is because there's only 3 spots and you play in threes, it means you have to stay right till the very end. I was a little worried, especially one gentleman shot 5 under, really good round. Me and one other were level, so it meant if somebody else shot level, we would be going into a playoff, or if somebody shot under par, we were gonna. So it only needed one other player to knock us down. So
were you ready? Were you ready for that playoff? Do you think you could have gone out and?
I was ready.
Thank goodness you didn't have to,
No.
which is nice.
So first of all, the warrior in me is ready at all times, but. No, I did not want to do a playoff. So I stiffen up like a board now when I stop playing. So it was quite funny because I was pacing the clubhouse. I was going out, in, through the hallway, out, around, in. I must have done that at least 6 times, if not more. And just trying to loosen up, and then I did go through my full warm-up again. I did hit balls while I was waiting. I definitely wanted to be ready. And back in the day, I probably wouldn't have done that. I'd have probably ordered a beer, sat down, and then go, oh my gosh, I've got to do... And then I wouldn't have been able to perform. So yes, I was absolutely ready. Luckily, I didn't need to, so Texas State Open is at the end of this month, beginning of August, so I'm excited to go down to Tyler and see what I can do there. Really excited. I think it means something more when you go through a qualifier. I really do. And we're talking about our experiences. Megan played Division I golf, so if you play college golf in the States, very, very good sides. It's very rare, if not at all, where people you have to do qualifiers to get in the
Pretty
team.
much like make the team, every tournament, you're constantly sharpening your skills, making sure that you're putting it to the test.
Absolutely.
Earning your spot.
Absolutely. So let's talk about Rick and Pete. Let's try and I need to get some bloody views, Megan. So I need to mention them because they know Mark Cross. You've got to get the names in. And Tiger Woods. And Lee Westwood. Lee Westwood did a qualifier once. Justin Rose did a qualifier at Burnham and Barrow. Burnham and Barrow is one of my favourite courses in the southwest of England. So Justin had to go and do qualifying. And there is qualifying, there's an expectation. And I think with Rick and Pete, first of all, fair play for doing it. Second of all, you know you're getting filmed, and when you're getting filmed, you know you're getting judged. Mm-hmm. Especially when the amount of views they get. They know. I was following Pete on Instagram. One of his media team were doing hole by hole. And Pete can play, by the way. Pete's a really, really good player. Rick's not very good. I'm not even gonna...
wait a second.
I would be disrespecting Pete. I have seen Rick play great golf, but of the two, Pete is a better golfer.
But Rick seems like a great guy.
Rick is a great
guy.
He's a great guy. But I think Pete plays more of that. I think Pete is done more preparation than Rick. You know, Rick does his other stuff.
So Pete, you want, as a partner on your team, Rick, you want to go play travel golf with.
I want to play against Rick for this reason. I know he likes a good time, and I know if you come up with silly, oh, let's play for 100 a hole, he would take you up on the challenge, just for the pure excitement of doing it, and then I take all his money.
Okay.
We've gone off topic again. It started off as it's tough for them when they...
Yeah, when you have something to prove.
Yeah.
Like, so it kind of makes me think of when someone's trying to do their playability test to become a golf pro.
Playability. So
yeah.
The PAT is a great... the PAT is a strange one, actually, because there's not many sporting examples. And if you don't know what the PAT is... in America, in the UK, if you want to become a PGA pro, you have to play 36 holes and shoot
a target score of...
score. And it's not that low. It's 14, 15 over, something like that. But it's a strange environment because it's about not messing up rather than doing well. So I would say the PAT is weird because it doesn't matter if you do great, it's just about getting through. Appreciate you could say that's the same with any qualifier, but for the PAT is a strange one. And I know there's people listening, they go, how the hell do you not do 15 over? If you're a 7 index, I promise you won't get that through 2 rounds. Under the pressure of why you're doing it.
Yeah, with all that added pressure.
With the added pressure, and like I said, it's a strange feel that you can feel the nervousness. Yeah. So how do you deal with that? So that was kind of where we're going. So, and fair play to Rick, fair play to Pete. There were a few other guys that did it as well. For me, you can't judge someone if you don't do it yourself. So I can. No, but you know what I'm saying. It's easier to stay at home is my point. Yeah. So, and US Open qualifying, was it a few years ago? I put stuff up on the channel. Remember when we went to Arizona? I practiced really hard, trained really hard, shot 1 over. It was a good score. Didn't qualify. The following year, I ended up coaching a ton. Didn't prepare anywhere near as well. I started the qualifier, and I think with qualifiers, like this is a perfect example. In Arizona, and I've actually just thought about this off the top of my head. I didn't put this together. In Arizona, the first I hit it in the bunker, and I got one a bit skinny, and I went long. Hit it to like 40 feet. It was a par 5 that had been converted into a par 4. So now I'm looking at a 5, and I'm about 40 feet away, I think, 30 feet, and I hole it for the bogey. And that, that calmed me down a bit. Yeah. The one in Florida, I hit it in the par 5 in 2. To ensure I got it back to the hole, to give myself a birdie chance, I flicked it over the green and made bogey. That then didn't let me calm down. I pushed a 2-iron off the second, got unlucky, still unlucky. This is a few years ago. I'm still not quite over there. Catches the corner of the cart path, goes out of bounds like that far. And then I had a panic. Yeah. And I shot. You probably can't remember this.
I remember that first hole in Arizona very well. You should
know the answer to this because my golf should be as important as our kids. My golf should be up there, Megan. So I played the last 12 holes, 2 under par. And I'm pretty sure I went bogey-free in the last 12 holes. What did I shoot? 2 under for the last 12 holes. What did I shoot?
I just remember you didn't qualify.
This podcast ain't going to work if you don't guess.
I would guess 75?
84.
You did?
Yeah. I had to blow out in the beginning. I had a freak out.
I'm impressed you even you finished the round.
I had a freak out of all freakouts.
That's a whole nother podcast
it was, in terms of preparation, it was terrible.
Wow.
My practice round got rained out.
Yeah. But you weren't nearly as
I
prepared
was
as
nowhere
the year
near
before.
prepared.
Yeah.
I shouldn't have even played.
Yeah.
It was one of those I entered thinking it was a good idea, and then I just did not have the time, nor did I prioritize.
Yeah.
Because when I did it the first time, I trained physically,
I mean,
mentally,
you were definitely in a good place.
But so I know how a qualifier can get out, and I joked at the time they should have let me take one of those flares out, and then I should have been able to shoot it up into the sky, and they should have like come out and got me. Like I'm talking, I'm laying up a pitching wedge on the par 5, and I hit it in the hazard. I totally lost the plot.
Lost it, yeah. Oh my goodness.
I totally lost the plot. So that can happen in a qualifier. But my point with a qualifier, and this is the point I want to make, because I think a lot of people qualifying for your club championships, a lot of the time inter clubs, you might need a qualifier. People think they need to play really aggressive golf in a qualifier because you know you have to hit a low score. But if that was the best way to play, you would play like that all the time.
Yeah.
And if you start playing really aggressive, and you could argue, look, I'm rolling the dice, and I want my score to either be really low or really high. So I get that concept, but good golf rounds you usually just like build into them. So you just have to stick to the plan. Stick to the plan. Try and play just good golf. And especially from a strategy standpoint, a hole that you go, oh, I could drive it, but I never would in a other environment. It's not a good idea in a qualifier, unless it's 18 and you know the score. I need an eagle.
Yeah.
But for me, and if we take my qualifier, the greens had just been punched. The course I was at, we had some bad weather a month or so ago here in Dallas, and they'd had flooding, so no issue with the club, but I think all of their maintenance schedules were back, so the greens had just been punched, so they were freaking terrible. I can sugarcoat it.
Yeah.
Pete is better at golf than Rick. These greens were terrible.
Yeah.
Okay? But I'm 3 holes in. I've just missed a 2-footer. It's jumped across. I'm 2 over through 3. And my old self would have either started complaining about how everything is against me. I actually felt like that because I'm putting so much better. Back in the day when I used to putt bad, I used to like bad greens. It used to be my equalizer. But because I was putting well, and I have been putting well, it was kind of annoying me even more. The par 5, I had 8-iron in there, and I didn't make birdie. So I've got drive at 8-iron, I hit it into the bunker, make the pass. I'm now 2 over through 4, and I've lost an opportunity. But on that tee, I made the conscious decision of going, look, let's put in a good representation of yourself and your golf game. And let's just stick to your golf game, and let's see what we can do. And then the round then kind of consolidated. I missed an 8-footer, but I went, look, never mind. Hit a really good putt. So you see, when the greens are bad, all you can do is roll it. Rolled it fantastically. Looked like it was going in, just went over the edge. Then I hit one to 10 feet. Like, didn't let all of what had happened prior. No, oh my God, now I can't. I should be 3 under. Now I'm 2 over. Make that. Then, a few holes later, make a birdie. Now I'm level. Bogey the par 5. Hit a really crappy tee shot. That was on me. Double bluff myself. Practice round, I hit one left. So I'm like, it doesn't matter that you went left. So go there. But now you're going to go right. Don't go right. The conversation I was having in my head, lapsing concentration, but end up holding a 4-footer for bogey. It's easy to let that go by and go, oh, now my day's over.
Yeah.
I birdied 17 to get to the level. I had a good up and down. It was a good representation of where my golf was, and that day it was good enough. I think when I played in Arizona, it was a good representation of where my golf was. I shot 1 over. On that day, it wasn't good enough. I think the notion of in a qualifier going balls to the wall and just playing crazy, over-aggressive golf. I just don't think it works.
Yeah.
You don't
Sometimes
build
it's
yet.
just kind of
Correct.
like you said, being good enough that day.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
like I said, it's for me, it's putting in a good representation of where you are.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And like I said, I counter that with if playing crazy aggressive golf was the way to do it, that's how you would play.
Yeah.
But the stats don't suggest that. If you get a lot of guys now into strategy-based, planning for your rounds. I like what Scott Fawcett says at Decade. He says if the plan or the strategy is to make a birdie, it's usually the wrong strategy. So that can be like, I think he gives an example of like back pin trying to skip it up the slope to make sure you got a birdie chance. That's usually not the way. And from a momentum standpoint, if you can, let me use that example, back pin, you skip one over the back of the green, you make bogey on a hole that you should have had an opportunity. So you see, it's a double whammy. Whereas if you go, look, let's play the correct shot. If it pulls up on the slope 20-footer, you roll that in, you got momentum. If you, let's say you catch a little bit of grass in between it, it flies a bit, it hops, it goes up there anyway. But playing the percentages for me is the way forward. You look at the tour guys at the minute. If you've got an afternoon slot, you're usually 6, 7, 8 shots back before you've even hit a tee shot. So can you see, if you go out with the mentality, oh my gosh, I need to do, you end up overreaching on your strategy, put stress on your swing. So you need to go, look, I just need to get into a rhythm.
I think this is a really interesting point, though, because it is a totally different mindset than feeling like you have to just go like red hot
You do.
in your qualifier. It is more of that kind of slow and steady type approach.
Slow and steady, and they build.
Yeah.
Couple birdies here, and they build.
It's kind of like that, the biting a chunk of the elephant. You do that small little bit.
Correct.
And then it equals the ultimate goal.
Correct. And I'll use this example. So I think qualifiers and match play, they can kind of go hand in hand. One of my elite students, very, very high-level golfer, he was 5 down after 5 because the guy he had played had made 5 straight birdies. So the guy starts with 5 straight birdies.
Wow.
So my player then decides, well, now I've got to go super aggressive. I'm 5 down after 5. I now need to go super aggressive. And he loses. Loses a hefty loss. But if you think about it this way, the guy's made 5 birdies. So you could argue he's unlikely to make more. So if he's unlikely to make more, if you just stick to your game, you make, in the next 7 holes, you play level par, or maybe you throw in 1 or 2 birdies. Now, they're 3 up, but the pressure is on them because you don't want to be the guy that loses after being 5 up. So can you see, you can reframe to go, actually, they have done their chunk of great work. If I now stick to my game, maybe I'm going to have 5. And by the end of the round, and as silly as it sounds, if you're going to be 5 down in match play, it's better to be 5 down on the 6th tee than 3/4 of the way through the round.
Yeah.
And you go, well, but maybe he makes more birdies. He started with 5 birdies. If he makes more birdies, he deserves to win. Deserves to win. He started with 5 and then he made another 5. Yeah, he played really well today. Congratulations.
Yeah.
Whereas I think sometimes, again, the qualifier, match play. Match play is a real good... bettable match play I love, because so many people watching this, if you play at a club level, bettable match play is a really fun format. If you both play really aggressive, usually one of you won't be in the hole.
Yeah.
So now it's a 2v1 situation. I did a look how I'm weaving my way back in. I did a qualifier for the 4-ball championships in the UK, so PGA National 4-ball. The first, I think, 9 or 10 holes, I didn't contribute once to the score, and we were like 5-6 under. Christian Vine I was playing with, he just went crazy, made 5-6 birdies. But I was in the holes, I was making pars. So you see, I gave him freedom.
Yeah,
so sometimes
that makes sense.
in that scenario, it looks like I've done nothing, whereas I was really playing a great team role. And then he cooled off on the back nine, as you're going to with that, and I threw in a couple birdies. We end up winning the qualifier.
Yeah.
So
That is a good way to kind of tie it in. Yeah.
Correct. Whereas if you go, so again, match play, better ball, all of these things, you go, look, I need to be super aggressive. And you'll hear when, and I'll finish here, and I'll let you have a closing statement, Megan. So you notice how I keep using the word aggressive. So whenever I'm with my students, I never use the word aggressive, I use the word assertive. And the reason I do that is aggressive has an undertone of out of control.
Yeah.
So if I do something aggressively, it's almost, you go, yeah, he's kind of lost it.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, it's reckless. Whereas assertive, can you see, it's still got the golfing emphasis of why we use the word aggressive. But if I go, you go, oh, I went downstairs and I spoke to Megan assertively that this is what I want, versus I went down there and I was aggressive. Can you see it's a different dynamic?
We might need you to apply that on a day-to-day basis.
Yes.
That's pretty.
So
That's pretty clever of you.
Yes. So can you see in a qualifier, I want to be assertive.
Yeah.
But I don't want to be aggressive. And a lot of the time in the quad, and I use my example, I'm 2 over through 3. Oh my gosh, now, and the greens aren't very good. Oh my gosh, now I need to be aggressive. I need to make up for this. This is owed to me. You see all of those things?
Yeah.
I make one more mistake, and now I'm panicking, and now I'm getting too far away from where I need to be.
Yeah.
So I stuck to what I needed to do. I was assertive in my decisions. So on holes that fit driver, I still hit them. You know, but I stuck to the plan.
Yeah.
You know, I had my yardage book. I had a plan. I stuck to the plan. So par 3, 230 with water on the right. I hit it in the left bunker and got it up and down. Can you see the aggressive play is, screw this, I'm drawing one over the lake. And can you see now I'm a swing away from, yes, some success, but I'm actually a swing away from disaster.
Yeah.
So I want to be assertive. I don't want to be aggressive.
Yeah, I mean, this definitely has changed my view on it. I wish I had this information when I played in college, because it is that difference of going from a defensive mode of like protecting your spot or your shots versus this is more of a solid approach. I like it.
Absolutely. And you go, look, if I keep doing a good representation of myself, so like for a college player, if I keep doing a good representation of myself and I keep working hard, I'm going to qualify.
Yeah.
If I go, look, I'm still not qualifying, you're like, look, you need to work harder. Or maybe, 4 years is a long time. Maybe you're in your first year and you go, look, I need to increase my skills. The summer break, I'm going to have to work twice as hard as everyone to put myself into a position. When I had my college team, I had a player do that. I loved his attitude and he wasn't quite there. And then he went away, worked his tail off in the summer, came back, and he went straight in the first team. You see, so can you see I keep using the phrase, putting a good representation of your golf game.
Yeah. Yeah, because that pressure and feeling like you have to just go low all at once isn't going to pay off in the tournament either. So
Absolutely. So I hope that's been helpful. If nothing else, I qualified. So if you want to get in the comments and go, congratulations, Steve. What a man. What a player.
It was well deserved.
I hope you made the.
You've been working on your game though, so.
We're lucky. We got
nice.
this room.
Yeah.
Getting out on the course is the big issue for me. So like in between lessons, I get to hit balls, even if it's only for half an hour. But you'd be surprised at what half an hour here and there can actually do. It does compound. But not getting out on the golf course has been the problem. Being in here, I think it's a mindset thing as well.
Yeah.
And like I said, I've been doing a lot of that stuff with like flow code and stuff. So when I was standing on that fifth tee, that's where I would have blown up back in the day. It wouldn't have been the missed putt. It would have been not birdie in the par 5 with the 8-iron. Because you see that's aggression.
Yeah.
So what happens with aggression? You know, the red mist descends and you then go spiraling, and then 7 holes later you're like, well, actually, if I hadn't done that crazy 3-hole period, I could have actually qualified. But you know, when we get aggressive, we tend to, you know, we can't see the forest through the trees kind of thing. So I managed myself very well, and excited to play. Like I said, get some comments down below. How many qualifiers have you played? And if you haven't played qualifiers, I kind of think the playing better ball match play is a really good example.
Yeah, definitely. That was a great example.
The amount of times, you know, I'll go first driver, you know, now you're on your own. And the weird thing is it actually feels harder when you're on your own than normally when you play on your own, you know you're on your own.
Yeah.
You know, there's that cushion of, oh no, I've got some help today.
My partner's out. I better bring it. Yeah.
It creates a weird dynamic. So,
definitely.
As always, thanks for watching. Stay happy, stay safe.
Hope to catch you soon.